Hey all, Brandon here, and it's time for more SexxxPerTease. I am running low on questions, so definitely if you watch my videos, send me more questions to answer. I need to get to 100 plus videos. I'm going to keep this blog going, so please submit your questions so that I can keep the blog running and answer your questions so I can give great advice to you to fix your life problems. Okay, so our question is... let me find first. Okay. My boyfriend and I just became official, but I glanced at his phone and saw that Grindr was still on it. I feel like it should be implied that if we're official, that we should delete all our apps. How do I confront him without coming across as a psycho boyfriend? Well, in today's dating world, it is like a big issue. Like, online apps can get you into a lot of trouble in relationships. Like, I think personally, like, if we are official, but you do also need to make sure that you are monogamous, because just because you're officially boyfriends doesn't mean you're monogamous with each other. And since open relationships are super in fashion in the gay community right now, you do have to make sure, like, you don't know if your ex comes from, like, a background, well, you probably should know this, but your ex could have been in an open relationship with all his ex-boyfriends, so it's always been implied that, like, yeah, we're, like, together, but it doesn't mean, like, we have to only have sex with each other. And if you're someone that comes from a monogamous background where you've been completely, like, set, like, we're together, no cheating, no talking to other guys, no being online when we're in relationships, like, you need to make sure, because you could be coming from two completely different worlds, you have to make sure you're on the same page before you make big steps, like becoming official boyfriends together. And when you do become official boyfriends, you have to know what that means exactly to each other, because different relationships have different rules, and you need to establish what the rules are for your specific relationship. So, I mean, probably, if you don't want to come across, I guess, as psycho boyfriend, you probably shouldn't say, like, why the fuck is Grindr still on your phone? I saw your phone, I went through it, and I saw this shit on here. Get the fuck off now. You need to have, like, a reasonable, calm discussion where, like, keep your voice down, don't yell at him, keep the tone nice and mellow, and maybe just because your boyfriend has Grindr still on his phone doesn't mean that he is, like, looking to specifically cheat on you, though I kind of don't believe the whole, like, I just wanted to see who's around, or I'm looking for friends bullshit, because I feel like people that do that still only message the guys they think are hot with the shirtless profiles that are saying, looking for fun. Like, but then again, like, if your boyfriend is gonna be on Grindr, you can't just constantly, like, who is he talking to? Like, who, let me see your conversation, like, let me read all your messages. It's like, you can't live in that constant state of paranoia, because it's not good for your relationship. It's only gonna make you bitter and angry and upset every time, like, you see him on his phone or you see him leave the house. Like, you can't not trust your partner, even though trust is extremely hard to have, especially if you've been fucked over in the past, and it's not like you're just gonna find a guy, it's gonna be, like, perfect, like, we'll never have a fight or an issue, we just, like, completely get each other and understand each other, unless you talk about it and make sure that you do get and understand each other and know where each other is coming from and what each other wants and needs in this relationship. So, it's good to discuss these rules and boundaries before you do make it official, but since you're already official, you do need to make sure that you just talk to it, sit him down, say, like, oh, I saw your phone, you still have Grindr, like, why is that? And then just say, like, oh, well, it bothers me that you still have Grindr on your phone because I deleted it from my phone when we became official, so I feel like you shouldn't be on it either. Though you can't, like, just say, like, you can't do this because it upsets me, because then you're becoming controlling, but I feel like it is something that could be a deal breaker for you, because it is a huge issue. It's like you're still talking to other guys, and then it feels like if you are still looking for other people, you're not satisfied with me, and that if you're still holding out hope for something better, it means that I can't really fully invest in you or in this relationship because I don't trust you to feel like I'm the person that you want to be with, because you're holding out other options and hoping for someone that will, I guess, fit better in your life. So it is a huge issue, and I do feel like you can't just overlook it if it bothers you, because it is a huge deal. It does sound, like, kind of stupid to say, like, oh my god, he still has Grindr on his phone, that our relationship can't last, like, I can't be with you. But honestly, I do think it is a huge issue, because you are opening that tunnel to find new people. So it's, you aren't satisfied with me because you're still holding out options. Like, if you don't have any friends, like, you should have made those friends before you became official with my boyfriend with me, because, like, if you think about it this way, you were online dating, so you had all this time. If you were looking for friendships and boyfriends, etc., like, you found me probably online, since most people do meet online nowadays, but you had time. It's not like you just joined Grindr yesterday, then we became official, and then, like, you never had a chance to explore it. It's like, you know what the site is, you know what it's about. You've probably been on there for months or even years. Like, you know what happens, and you know, like, what type of relationship. So, like, you had just as much time to already find and establish friendships as you did to find a relationship. So, like, if you didn't have any friends before, like, why do you need friends after you're, like, with me now? Like, you at least have me now to be your friend, and, like, you can find friends in other avenues or venues. Like, if you can find friends before, like, you still don't need to find them. Like, you had that opportunity when you were still on the site. So, too bad. If you didn't find any friends before you became official and a boyfriend, then you're gonna have to find friends in real life, or at work, or wherever else you go, but you can't find them on Grindr because you're with me now. That does sound kind of psycho when I think about it, but then again, I think it makes complete sense. It's just that, no, you can't be online anymore for a dating app, even though I hate when people call it, like, a hookup app, because, like, you can find friends online. I have found friends online, but I also wasn't in a relationship still looking for friends. But you can find real platonic friends. Like, I did find real platonic friends online, but, like, if a guy was to tell me, well, I'm just looking for friends on it, like, you didn't have friends before you met me? Like, you don't need new friends if you found, like, a boyfriend. You can find friends other places. Like, most of my friends I haven't found online. Like, there's maybe, like, one or two friends I made online. Or I met friends at the clubs, too. But then again, if you think, like, you don't need to go clubbing because you have a boyfriend. Like, I don't think that's the same thing. Because clubbing, like, you're just out, hanging out, and, like, being social. And it's not just the same thing as a club. I mean, yeah, you can find guys to hook up with there. You can find guys to hook up on Grindr, too. But you also, like, don't have to. But I do think it would just still bother me if a guy was like, oh, let me see your... Like, if a guy's gonna ask for dick pics, like, you know how perverted guys are online, and then it's like, are you still gonna send people naked pictures even though you have a boyfriend? Like, why are you engaging in, like, sexting or sexual activity? But then again, every relationship's different, so both of you are comfortable with that, and you don't care if your boyfriend sends other naked pictures or sexting or hooks up with other people, that's completely fine. But if it is an issue for you, it is a deal breaker if you are the type that wants to be monogamous and closed off to meeting other people, and then they want to be open and still open to meeting other people. Like, it's not gonna work. That's a deal breaker in a relationship. Like, it's a huge issue. You can't just overlook it. Like, you can't just become a psycho and paranoid the whole time. So, I'm gonna tell you, have the conversation. Don't yell or scream. Have it detailed, honest. Say how you feel about everything. Don't let it... I mean, you're gonna have to make a decision. Like, either you're gonna be fine with him still being on it, or you're going to just have to let him go, because you can't just say, like, oh, he says he's gonna delete it, but then you find out later that he re-downloaded it. Like, that's a huge issue, and I think the relationship probably isn't meant to be. But I hope that helped answer your question, and join me again for more SexxxPerTease later, and please submit more questions!